The Great Plains sprayer is designed to offer years of trouble-free performance, but as with all equipment, proper setup and maintenance is needed to achieve this goal. The following video will instruct the user on the proper adjustment and lubrication of the sprayer. This video is intended to be a supplement to the operator's manual, not a replacement. Read and understand the operator's manual fully before attempting to operate the sprayer. Begin by attaching the sprayer to the tractor. Be certain the safety chain and all attachment bolts are installed. Inspect the front to rear levelness. Use the series of bolts at the front of the sprayer to adjust the tank so it slopes to 1 to 1.5 inches towards the front. Unfold the boom and inspect the side-to-side levelness. Proper boom leveling procedures are outlined in the operator's manual. This should have been done at initial setup, but should be rechecked before it goes to the field for the first time. If the unit is equipped with a PTO, use the tractor drawbar guide in the sprayer's operator's manual to place it in the correct position. On hydraulic pump-equipped units, port I is pressure and port O is return. When attaching the pump to the tractor, be certain to identify the hydraulic system. This is critical because open center, pressure compensating closed, and load sensing closed systems all have specific instructions to properly attach them to the tractor. Use the operator's manual to ensure this is done correctly. If the sprayer is intended for liquid fertilizer or chemicals that cause brass to corrode, it is strongly suggested that a 507-034V gauge isolator be added to prevent agitator gauge failure. Testing and calibration of the sprayer should be done with a clean, rinse sprayer. Use only fresh water in the calibration process. Refer to the nozzle tip calculator part number 832-038C to select the correct tip for the current operation. Pay close attention to the projected ground speed and nozzle spacing when selecting nozzles. Most applications call for the spray pressure to be set between 20 and 40 psi, but follow all chemical label recommendations when setting spray pressures. When setting up a sprayer, start with the monitor. The two monitor systems used on Great Plains sprayers are the Raven 440 and 450. We use the 450 on our 5-section models and the 440 on 3-section versions. To program the monitor, first attach the console to a 12-volt power source, such as the battery. Avoid all power ports and switch power supplies. Attach the speed cable, console cable, and the pressure transducer cable to the rear of the console. Hold the CE button down and turn the console on. Now use the CE key to select the correct volume display. For our example, we have chosen US volume per acre. Use the Enter key to toggle the next screen, which is the ground speed sensor. Again, the CE key will allow us to toggle between SP1, which is a wheel speed sensor, and SP2, which is the radar speed sensor. For our example, we have selected SP1. Press the Enter key to advance to the valve cal screen. In all of our applications, we use the CSD standard valve. Press the Enter key and cal will flash, and Self-Test 0.0 will appear. Now to press the boom cal key. The red light and the corner will light. The main difference between the 440 and 450 monitor is that the 440 has individual buttons for the boom cal sections, and the 450 has a boom cal button and an up and down arrow to toggle between the 5 boom sections. With the boom cal on the display, press the Enter key to activate the number pad. An E will appear in the right-hand area of the display. Enter the width of the boom section in inches in boom 1. This is calculated by multiplying the spacing of the tips times the number of tips on the boom section. If a mistake is made, depress the CE button to clear the error. Redepress the Enter key and re-enter the boom width. Complete the entry by depressing the Enter key again. Repeat these steps for the remaining booms. Move to the speed calibration screen. We will explain the wheel speed sensor option. If radar is being used, then follow the procedures outlined in the Raven manual to calibrate the speed. To ensure accurate wheel sensor calibration, perform this function in the field with the tank half full. Place a mark on the bottom of the tire and a flag in line with the mark. Drive ahead slowly 10 tire revolutions. Place a second flag at the mark on the tire. Measure the distance in inches between the two marks. This is the speed calibration number. Repeat this procedure several times. Use the average of these numbers for the speed calibration number. Press Enter and key the number in, pressing Enter again to store it. Now move to the meter calibration screen. Retrieve the cal numbers from the tag located on the flow meter. Press Enter and place the number from the flow meter in the memory. Press Enter to store it. Press the valve cal and enter key to place the control valve number in memory. A standard valve always has a calibration number of 2123. You are now ready to enter your target rates under Rate 1 and 2. These should be in gallons per acre. A good rule of thumb is that the two rates should be within 20% of each other. The last button to program is the volume tank that allows you to monitor the fluid used as it is metered. Again, the Enter button is used to enter the gallons of liquid in the tank. This monitor also features a self-test mode. That will allow you to test the accuracy of the sprayer. The sprayer must be stationary to enter this mode. As soon as motion is detected, the monitor will be released from the calibration mode. This monitor will also calculate functions such as total area, total volume, field area, field volume, speed, volume per minute, and distance. Proper use of these functions are outlined in the operator's manual. The next step is to set the deadhead pressure. This refers to the maximum pressure the sprayer is allowed to build with all functions turned off. Set the tractor hydraulic pump circuit to the minimum amount of flow. The tractor must have the ability to adjust hydraulic flow to operate a hydraulic pump-equipped sprayer. With the power and master switch on, turn on the boom switches. Place the console flow control in the manual position. Hold the increase button for 12 seconds to set the water flow to maximum. Move the hydraulic lever from the float position to the lower retract position, making sure that it remains engaged. Increase the tractor RPM to the field operating speed. Once all the air is purged from the system, turn off the boom switches and close the agitation valve. Using the boom pressure gauge as a guide, increase the tractor hydraulic flow until the sprayer pressure gauge reads 80 psi. This is the deadhead pressure. Take note of this setting on the hydraulic controls to return to it. Remember, the volume per minute or the speed button must be lit to see pressure. This procedure is similar for a PTO-driven sprayer, except the tractor engine RPM is used to increase or decrease the pressure. Make reference of the tractor RPM to return to this setting the next time the sprayer is operated. Once satisfied, open the agitation pressure valve. Remember, when the lever is disengaged, it must be put in the float position, not the neutral position, or damage to the pump will occur. Many newer tractors have electronic detent and a hydraulic motor setting. Use this setting when operating a hydraulic pump-equipped unit. The sprayer deadhead pressure should now be set. The chemical inductor is used to induct chemical into the sprayer so that the operator does not have to climb up the walkboard to do so. To operate this feature, fill the tank with the carrier needed and transport the sprayer to the field to be used. Make sure that all boom switches are off and the inductor and valve panel are all off. Turn valve 1 to agitation. Turn valve 2 to main tank. Turn valve 3 to spray. Engage the sprayer pump and set the engine to the operating RPM. Open the valve underneath the tank that is plumbed to the chemical inductor. Turn product valve 4 from off to induct. Add chemical to the inductor tank. This can be either dry or liquid material. Turn inductor valve 5 from inductor off to inductor on. Continue to pour chemical in the inductor until all the material is introduced. Replace the lid and turn the inductor to the off position as soon as all of the chemical is inducted. It is important to turn on the inductor with chemical in the tank and to turn it off as soon as the chemical is inducted to minimize the amount of air inducted in the tank. This will minimize foaming in the main tank. Completely empty the chemical in the main spray tank by turning the agitation valve off on the last pass, spraying it out in the field. Turn off all the boom switches and disengage the pump. Turn the valve 1 to the flush position. Turn valve 2 from the main tank to the flush tank position. Turn valve 3 to the spray position. Operate the spray pump with the unit stationary until 1/3 of the flush tank is consumed, then stop the pump. Now turn valve 1 from flush to off. Rotate valve 2 from flush tank to main tank. Operate the pump and spray out the full volume of liquid in the main spray tank. Repeat this process until no liquid remains in the flush tank or main spray tank. Several points of the Great Plains sprayer need routine maintenance to optimize the performance of the sprayer. After several hours of operation, check the sprayer for loose bolts, pins, and hose clamps. Check the hoses, pumps, valves, and fittings for leaks. Always wear rubber gloves when making repairs and adjustments. The polyethylene slide blocks on the elevator need to be adjusted for wear. As the pads wear, use the 1/2-inch bolts to take up the tolerance. When adjusting the elevator, be certain to keep it centered or interference may occur. If adjusted properly, the elevator will slide the full length without binding with no front to rear movement. Check the tires for proper inflation. 22 psi is recommended for the 13.6 by 38 tires and 36 psi for the 14.9 by 46 tires. Proper pump maintenance and winterproofing of the sprayer is outlined in the operator's manual. Wheel bearings, repack and check seals every 500 hours of operation. Swing arm weldment. A zerk is located at the top and bottom of both arms. Lubricate every 10 hours of operation. Inner pivot tube weldment. Lubricate every 30 hours of operation. Base pivot inner fold section weldment. Lubricate every 30 hours of operation. In-wing weldment and breakaway boom. Lubricate every 30 hours of operation. Once again, if the procedures are followed in this video and the operator's manual, you can expect years of trouble-free performance.